Another noon kickoff, this one on the Big Ten Network. Minnesota -6.5. Beg your pardon. Minnesota -6.5 at Illinois. Total here, a low total as you would expect, 39.5. Minnesota was the darling of college football analytics for a little while here, and then they lost 20-10 to Purdue. So where is your opinion now of the Golden Gophers?
Hasn't moved. I think they're a very good team. They were without Mo Ibrahim last in that loss. They lost him for most of the game. And again, I hate to harken back on last season so much, but Minnesota could not do anything and was an objectively just okay team when they didn't have Mo Ibrahim in the backfield. So he is a difference maker to this team. I think he should be back is the reports I'm seeing. Plus he gets that extra week to rest up. So Minnesota's coming in on a rest advantage. And I think that's why they're favored by 6.5 on the road to Illinois. But who would have thought that we were talking about Illinois leading the Big Ten West after 6 weeks? They're 5-1, and they just keep beating teams that we say that they're not going to beat. I think Minnesota is a different story. They're not as flawed as Wisconsin. They're not firing their coach. They're not as flawed as Iowa with that 15-point abysmal game that was just impossible to watch. But the Illinois run defense has been playing really well. They're only allowing 2.4 yards per rush. That's fourth nationally. But again, look at the sample size. Wisconsin, they're going through their own stuff. Iowa couldn't move the football against scout team defense. Indiana has their troubles running the ball. Virginia's terrible, and Wyoming is, whatever. So I'm not taking it too much into account, but they're getting the job done. And they can run the ball really well themselves behind Chase Brown. So, but are we comfortable with Minnesota as nearly a touchdown road favorite? I'm probably not betting it. I'm not sure either. Yeah, right. This could be a game where I look back and it's 24-3 Minnesota and be like, oh, of course they were the better team. Or we keep betting against Illinois and keep losing. Those are kind of the two options here.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Minnesota, again, the darling of the metrics, they are number 2 in the nation in EPA margin. They are basically top 20 in every stat across the board when it comes to EPA offense and defense. And then, Illinois, they just come off a win, but it was 9-6 against Iowa. Like your very prototypical, stereotypical Iowa game. And across the board here, they have a very strong defense. I'll give them that. I mean, Illinois is elite, it appears, on defense when it comes to EPA allowed. But that offense is a question mark here against Minnesota. So can they keep this low scoring? Can they keep it close enough? I'm tempted if we get to 7 here. 6.5, I'm not sure. I kind of disagree with the number already on 6.5, but like 7 would be really interesting here if we get some people back in Minnesota based on these metrics. What are your thoughts if we get to 7?
I'm probably not betting Illinois either way.
Okay.
It's one of those, they've gone into my do not fade list, and I know betting on them is not fading them, but it's kind of one of those things where and we'll talk about TCU here in a couple of minutes, but they keep winning, and you have to give them their respect because they keep winning, but every win looks worse and worse every week.
Yeah, in terms of what their opponents have done against other opponents, right? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's scary. I'm not saying I'm going to bet it, but I'll say I would not bet Illinois unless it gets to 7. But I think with all the metrics with Minnesota, sorry everybody, battling a little something over here. I think with all the metrics with Minnesota, this is probably going to be one-way action, I would assume. So if you're wanting to bet Illinois, hold out, get as close to kickoff as you can, and see where this number goes.